In today's website audit, we're going to cover a company that I think are doing a fantastic job in the VR category, and that is Zero Latency. In this video, I'm going to cover things like SEO, performance, UI, UX, and how I think that they can make some improvements to conversions and better represent them as a business and brand. If you haven't seen our existing videos and audits, I'll link some in the description below, or we've got a playlist on YouTube for them. I'll jump right in. If you do like what's in this video, please consider leaving a subscription, a like, and a comment on the video. I'll reply to each and every comment, and subscribing obviously allows you to see more of our audits, how you too could improve your business, and overall provide an education on what converts, how to generate new traffic, SEO, and improve overall. Whether you're a professional or just a business owner, all these tips and information can come in useful. I'll jump right in. As a business, they're doing such a fantastic job in the virtual reality space. They work with Hewlett-Packard and HP. They do a fantastic job with their website. By the looks of it, I've experienced this in December of last year, of 2019, in a team building exercise with Sitecentre. So with that experience, I sort of walked away with new insight. That was the first time I'd ever done VR, and I encourage you, if you haven't done virtual reality before, to definitely give it a go. Zero Latency is definitely an upper price market, and they're targeting a more exclusive audience, but they've got a lot of branches. They've got a lot of warehouses available. Where only in Australia here, they've got 4, but looks like internationally they've got quite a few, so 41 venues over 20 countries. So definitely consider going and having a look at them, or at least one of the others. So to start out, I do like the look and feel of their website. I actually love the blue that they've used. Such a fantastic blue. The first experience I got with their brand and marketing was the front of their warehouse, and it was that dark color with the blue, and their business card just looked amazing. So that was the first experience I got with them. They're using a 100% vertical height splash page. So the splash image is 100% vertical height. So everything that I can see here is 100% vertical. And this is the above the fold content. But as soon as I scroll, you can see exactly where I was. And so that is a common trend now, and a vertical height of this. They are going for the hard sell, and unfortunately I don't like the hard sell. 41 venues in 20 countries is a great thing to promote, and the virtual reality experiences is something definitely to create. But this play now call to action isn't something that should be there. I am not yet sold on the experience. The book now, play now button is already in the top right, and it's something that they need to sell me more. There's not enough information in this above the fold content to convince me to yet play. So having a look at their YouTube page, I noticed that they've got quite a few videos. They've got quite the following. They're promoting actively every month or so, and they've been doing so for years. So having a well-established YouTube channel, and if you scroll down, they've actually got a promotional video right here. Moving that up here and having a play button or a learn more button that can then play that video, or even a background preloaded video that plays in the background. You can lazy load it, delay the loading, look at different ways to not impact the site performance, but load a video in the background that actually shows what the experience is. Without selling the product, you can't request someone to then order before selling. So having that step before the play now button would be better, and it's something that they could also A/B test. You don't have to dive in, change this to a play button, or have an auto playing button in the back. They can look into doing A/B or an ABC test, and having an experiment where they're running all 3 different options simultaneously to different users and working out what converts the best. And I can nearly guarantee by my own experiences, my own tests that we've run, this hard sell without yet selling anything won't work, as well as having yet another sort of video playing in the background. It can also increase your dwell time, which in turn decreases bounce rate, and in turn increases your organic rankings, which you'll find out later they're not doing too bad for that either. So having this video underneath and having it above would not make sense. You'd need two different videos, or at least a different panel right here, or section, if you will, which is fine. Change it around. Once again, it's another hard sell having a buy now button with such limited information. Consider the customer journey, how the customer's having a journey through the website, how they're being sold. This is not enough information to yet hard sell me on something. So learn more button. You've still got this following button. It's always there. I know it's there. It's very prominent. So a learn now button and having it take me to further information would be advisable. This as featured in, very powerful section. However, they've used one big image. I understand why they've used one big image, not only for the layout and formatting, but because you want to lower the requests. If you have one of these or a new logo for each different item, then you're loading multiple different requests, and in this instance 10, instead of just loading that one request, which can improve the performance of the loader. However, if you load them as SVGs, and all of these big brands will have an SVG format available to you, you can decrease the request by 1 because you're not loading a request. An SVG can be loaded as a text type file, and have these linkable. If Mashable have spoken about you, or Forbes have spoken about you, have a link to the article they've spoken about you. You can improve the SEO of the page that they've linked to you from, which, if they've linked back to you, increases that page authority, which increases the ranking of that page in a global term, not just related to your business, but a total VR promotional term. So actually linking to them adds enormous value, especially if it's linking to their article. So doing that would be something that I'd advise. It also increases the page rank of your website, linking out to higher domain authority websites. And in this instance, you're not. So take advantage of that and link out. The buttons I actually really like. The border, the 2 pixel or 3 pixel border they've got on their buttons is awesome. The hover effect, fade in, fade out is nice as well. And the color transition between the white and the blue text is very nice as well. Free roam VR, maybe have a paragraph underneath. However, the color palette is nice. This big, large back to top button is beautiful. I prefer on this button not to load reverse of what the other call to actions are. I'd prefer to see this be the solid blue, but move up. So not move up as entirely, have the blue from the bottom still, but the actual height grow and the button grow up too. It signifies up, so you're trying to encourage people to go up. It signifies up by moving it in an animated way upwards. It looks nice, it feels nice, but you're not going an inverse of what the rest of your buttons and call to actions are, like this even. Oh, that's a little bit broken. So look at that, having a transition up to make it look nice. I do like their image hover effect, the overflow none on the box element, and the image zoom is quite nice as well. It's also got a slight delay on the image, which I do like. So that's actually nice. I like the fact that they've got them there. I don't know about centering these 3 at the bottom. You can do that with Flexbox using HTML5 and CSS3. And your browsers will support centering these items dynamically. However, if they add one more, it'd obviously make sense to have it a 4-column table or 4-column flex box here. This is the time where you would hard sell, but it's just book now, book now, book now, book now, book now, play now. Be creative. If I've scrolled to the bottom, I've scrolled past all your other call to actions, possibly consider changing it to, are you ready to play? Are you ready to dive in? Change it around. You can A/B test this once again. If you've got the traffic available to you, so high traffic sites have a better experience when testing their A/B tests, have a look at changing this text around to something else other than the same text that you're using throughout the website. Move it, change it, do something different. Having the same thing won't work. Social media icons, fantastic. White, on the black, or white on the dark blue, sorry, looks awesome. The hover effect, awesome. These are SVGs, I've checked, that's awesome. It's early in 2020, they've updated it, that's fantastic. Terms and privacy policy, awesome. It all looks and feels amazing. They've done a fantastic job with their color palettes. Let's have a look at their menu. The menu's quite nice. See, this video in the background, I think would be such an amazing thing on the homepage, and it sells it a lot more. It's promotable. It's telling a story. It's showing what it is. It's showing the games, the quality of graphics, and the quality was amazing. It's full immersion. I like the testimonials. This is something that, okay, this is by Wired, but this is something that they've got a lot of customer testimonials on. The journey from a customer's perspective, having gone, was awesome. The end of the experience, they take you into a room, they show you your scores, they show you who did the best. They then do an approach of upsells of drinks and food, beverages, and then they do an experience. How would you rate this? Here's a business card. Here's a discount for the next time you come. Can you please take a couple minutes to leave a review on our website? They're giving you the experience of right now, you're in this isolated room. They'll give you time to leave a review live right now. Don't go away, because they know once you leave their room, you're not going to leave a testimonial. You're going to forget. So they want you to do it right here and then. That experience is fantastic. And subsequently, they've generated a lot of reviews. Just in their Brisbane, they've got 503. In their Melbourne, nearly 1,000. 4.8 rating on both is fantastic. They need a number here. They need to update that. That's fine. But the amount of reviews that they've generated, yet not showing that once on their website, is poor. From my perspective as someone that's been, I'm a little bit biased and know that it's a fantastic service. But from a new user's perspective, who is this company? Why should I trust them? Having trust signals such as reviews and real reviews on Google shows exactly why. And I'm sure on their Facebook, they've got even more reviews. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm probably logged in. They've probably got even more reviews on their actually, I'll do it on another screen. Showing these though is really important. So they've got 608. They've got 5 out of 5 rating, perfect rating, over 608 people. They've not had one single review lower than 5. That's awesome. So they're obviously a company that's doing it really well and trying really hard to generate reviews. Why not show it? Why not have, where we've got this many reviews as a business, combine them, a collaborative effort of reviews, something that's a very strong trust signal from an outside's perspective. This page in general is effectively the homepage. It doesn't have much new information. So having a new tab for it, it doesn't add too much value. I'd suggest creating new sections that show what the experience is and a little bit more about the gear and the technology, what you're backed by, opposed to just showing very similar information that's on the homepage already. So definitely don't just duplicate content, have something unique there. I definitely like this though, show everyone knows what that means. So their games, I expect that when clicking on that, so that's fine. Their actual game in general, quite nice. They've got custom icons and graphics. I like their custom graphics and their custom icons for each game. That's awesome. The graphics show that it's an amazing quality. About the game, fantastic information, player versus player. Pretty cool information. This is all what I expect to see. And then in the media, that's a pretty good page. That's a pretty well formatted page. They're only showing reviews from big companies again. I'd probably suggest doing customer reviews as well, or at least having an integration there for that. Their locations page, I'm in Australia. And I did notice and test this, if you are in a different country, it'll auto load that country's specific locations for you on your behalf. Fantastic feature. They've done a really great job of that. Obviously, if I'm in Australia, I don't want to be loaded into the United States. That is irrelevant to me. I do like the fact that they've gone to the effort to program this in. And I have also noticed that this auto adjusts based on my location. It knows it's Brisbane's closest to me, it'll show Brisbane. If I'm in the location of Melbourne, it'll show me the Melbourne. That's a fantastic feature as well, and will help with the conversion rate. And by clicking this, it then takes me to what the building looks like. Now, I didn't do the Brisbane experience, I actually did the Melbourne experience, which is a shame that I don't have a picture there for it. I thought it looked amazing from outside. And it helps you build a connection between where you're actually going. I do like the fact that they've done it for Brisbane. The times, the address, the parking, the email address, the website, all fantastic information. Once again, they don't show the phone number. I'm not sure if that's on purpose because they don't have a phone number. It wasn't on their Google My Business listing. Do they have a phone number? I don't see it anywhere. I don't know if they take calls or not. You could be dropping conversion rate there by not having it. You want multiple points of communication. They've got their online booking system. That's fantastic. Where's your Facebook chat? Where is a chat widget in general that's normally down here? A phone number. If I'm booking as a parent for my children and I want further inquiry or know more information, I can't. There's no way. I can't wait days for an email response. No one does that anymore. I'm not tech savvy enough as an old, 40-odd-year-old, that's not me, but hypothetically, to book online not knowing all the information. I'm more likely to want to call. I can't. What do I do? I'm going to go search for it. I can't find it. You're going to lose people. So having that would be a very smart strategy to involve more points of communication, or making your FAQ more prominent. So have it in the menu. Older generations aren't likely to book online without having all the information. Is this enough information? Maybe, maybe not. Have they surveyed people? Don't know. Make sure that you do the effort and the due diligence of making sure that you've either surveyed the right amount of people and answering the right amount of questions if you're not going to show relevant information like a phone number. That's really important. So gifts, which is their merchandise, their gift cards, their news. I can't fault their UI, the UX. It is fantastic. It is a shame they don't have some relevant information. It's a shame that they don't have videos on their homepage or showing the user or the client testimonials. They're there. Use them. You've got plenty of them. That's a shame, but website, beautiful, beautiful experience to use. Their code is very well done. They're using the social media tags, fantastic, being that they're a company that would be shared locally and shared online as an experience people have done. They're a tourism type item, so you would typically want to share your experience. With their coding though, there's some things that they could definitely improve. First of all, they're using the old version of the Google fonts. The new version has a question mark swap there, which actually is a performance improvement for their media. They're using then Bootstrap CDN, which is a free CDN by Bootstrap, or Max CDN, sorry. Then they're using a different CDN for their icons. And then as you scroll down, they use a internal directory. Then they change to Cloudflare, then back to Max CDN, then Cloudflare. Max CDN has the exact same assets as Cloudflare and Cloud vice versa. They all use the GitHub repository to upload their directories and keep their directories updated. Pick one, stick with it. It's one ping request or one IP fetch or DNS request that's needed to be done. If you're loading multiple CDNs and multiple assets from different CDNs, you're losing out on performance because it's not just requesting a new file. you're having to make a handshake agreement with two different IP addresses and agree to receive files from two different IP addresses. This is a latency between a performance perspective. Why lose that latency instead of just choosing one when both assets are on both CDNs? Even your own, consider downloading them, host them locally. These don't change. If they use a version number in there because they don't want them to change, the next version will have a different URL, so they're not going to change. You may as well download them locally. Keep the signature, so this here, keep this. That's theirs. They're entitled to it. They've written the code. That's fine. Download it locally. There's nothing that's stopping you from doing it. They're open source platforms, they're open source scripts. You're allowed to do it. There's nothing that's stopping you from a legality point of view. Locally sourced, and they're using jQuery as well. Download them, serve them from your IP address. They're external requests that don't need to be done. Then they're using Tag Manager. So Tag Manager is a Google initiative. It's fantastic for optimization of performance. It allows you to serve these JavaScript and CSS files dynamically through this one script. If configured correctly, your performance can be amazing. You can deliver these scripts when they're needed, not just because they want to be delivered, only when required, and that can increase your performance significantly whilst reducing the overall file size and request limit of your website. They're obviously just using this for Google Analytics because the Google Analytics script isn't on the website, only their Tag Manager. All these scripts could be included within the Tag Manager, optimized delivery and performance improved to an amazing level. Google Recapture also have a plugin for Google Tag Manager. It's another script that doesn't need to be called right now, that could be called on a delay. Definitely worth consideration. Their links don't have title tags, which means that they can't gain access to title tag link extensions within the SERPs or Google search results. Add title tags to your navigation. They're using the HTML5 nav sort of selector, which is fantastic, but you're not utilizing the rest of that by having a title tag in here, which actually adds SEO value. They're also lazy loading, which is fantastic to see. Lazy loading of images, that improves the performance of their website. However, that's a div, which is different. But looking at their image tags, they have alt tags occasionally, but then on other images, the alt tags are empty. Have alt tags on each and every image. If it's lazy loaded, great. If it's not lazy loaded, still have alt tags. Have alt tags on every single image tag. Now, instead of having this class image as a div, have it as a figure. That is the HTML5 recommended way of doing it, is having a figure. It also tells the browser search engines that this item is important to the page, but if it's not included, it's not the end of the world. It's just a graphic, typically used for code snippets, images, videos, iframes, and so forth. Use the figure outside of an image tag. They're using animations using OAT. I forget this. I used it once before. It was a fantastic plugin. .css. Where is it? Can't find it. That's fine. Anyway, it's a plugin extension that helps make awesome loading CSS or div elements as you scroll. It's an awesome plugin. Definitely consider doing it. Their external links have a title tag. That's fantastic. However, they're not using a rel no opener no referrer tag. That means the page can start auto downloading before loading. This can delay or cause latency on your website. Consider adding those on all external links. Otherwise, code's fine. You could compress it, but they don't have too many lines of code. It's under 1,000. They don't have too many div elements. Compressing it will cause a slight performance improvement, not all that much. Their robot.txt file's fine. Their sitemap is included. That's awesome. Their sitemap is also very accurate. They could add a level of importance to their sitemap, but Google can work that out themselves. They have their updated file, or last updated. These are outdated though. Any more than 6 months, you should reconsider going over all your content and updating them. If your content reaches 6 months old, go back, fix them up, add slight adjustments, spelling mistakes, add some new text and resubmit them. You can actually gain huge position improvements by doing so. The titles and descriptions are actually pretty good. Google are recognizing them as a brand and they're shortening their titles automatically and putting their brand at the end. So that's awesome to see. Other than these short ones, which they're not really trying to rank for anyway, they shouldn't have a Git repository in their results. That's something to consider fixing. However, titles, descriptions, they're doing pretty good. Performance, obviously this looks bad. It's not actually as bad as it looks though. They can make performance improvements by optimizing images significantly, especially in terms of the size. It's nearly 2 meg. You can get this site under 1 meg by just making those image optimizations by themselves. Scaling images, obviously this image is massive. It's 800 by 800. You can see it in here. And they're serving it in a size at 263 by 263. Create a 263 by 263 variation of that image and serve the correct image size. Don't serve a massive image if it's not required. Pretty basic things. But 3.7 seconds for a fully loaded time is actually really great, and their first contentful paint of 0.9 seconds. Our target is under 1 second, so they're actually doing a really great job on that as well. So fantastic job on the performance, but there are improvements to be done that could bring that down to 600 milliseconds or below, and that total load time down to less than 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, and this download size of less than 1 meg. In terms of their Google score or their page speed insights, mobile is a sacrifice, unfortunately, due to their render blocking, having that JavaScript at the top, and not utilizing the Google Tag Manager to its full capabilities, not loading their images in the new WebP format. Probably scaled images and so forth could also be improved on. Desktop, they're doing really well on though. Another page speed tool, once again, performance is fantastic. Their first download time is fantastic. Small improvements there. Their code structure and how it could be coded definitely could be improved. Too many web fonts, 11 web fonts, too many, especially based on how many fonts you can actually see here. 1, 2. Yeah, I can see 2. Maybe they've got an icon font. I'm not sure, but they shouldn't be 11. Obviously, they're using a framework which is causing delays there. They're also not taking advantage of the HTTP2 requests or HTTP2 pushes. Performance could definitely be improved based on code. Their latency between servers, their Australian servers are performing quite poorly. 0.3 milliseconds or 0.3 seconds is a lot. You should have 0 here. This should be a 0.0 for an Australian server. Obviously, as an international site though, they might be focusing on other locations. However, you should have at least 10 at 0, at minimum. Very, very minimum, you should have at least 10. So there's delays between server requests and server ping. Definitely look into how you can improve that, having a better server or a more centralized server to your destination or using a global CDN. Image optimization can be significantly improved. Obviously, this is detecting 1.1 meg of images, could be reduced down to 229 kilobytes. That's a near on 80% reduction in images without any image quality loss whatsoever. That's massive. Definitely look at doing that. In terms of their SEO, healthy company, very healthy. Started in 2015 and their SEO has grown significantly since. They're a very popular brand in Melbourne. Their brand terms have plenty of traffic, and VR search position 7 is massive. So SEO performance wise, they're actually doing a really great job. Heaps of backlinks, no complaints there. Their domain rating, their authority is perfect. There's nothing I can say about the SEO whatsoever, except for the fact they don't have structured data. I keep saying it. I say it in all of our videos, use structured data, use the organization data, use the local business data, use all the structured data that's available. It's really important to make sure that you're staying at the cusp of this structured data. And as it moves forward, you can gain positions near on immediately by just implementing the changes and taking advantage of it early, opposed to waiting for the trend to kick in. Keep an eye on that structured data and make sure that it's done. Overall, as a rating, I'd give zero latency A, skipping out on an A plus purely down to the fact that there's a few things in their performance that they could work on. The schema markup's not there. Their user engage or user experience isn't there with the hard sells, and the fact that they're not promoting those reviews as heavily as they should, considering how many and how great those reviews are. I'll cut it here. If you have any sort of businesses, websites that you would like us to audit, whether it be your own or a business that you know of that is doing a really great job, we're happy to audit it for you. We'll upload the video to YouTube in a very similar format to this. Leave a comment if you noticed anything. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions on how we could improve these audits. If you have any questions, obviously leave them in the comments. Please subscribe if you want to see more of these. This is information that, yes, I'm targeting it towards this business, but take out key notes that we keep bringing up across all the videos and implement them into your business. You will see results immediately from implementing some of these changes. Please click a like on the video if you like it. It helps us understand the type of videos that you like us posting, and I'll leave it there. If there is anything else, please either call, email, or leave a comment.